They've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
I'm here with Thomas from Talkin Heating and Air. With the temperatures going up and temperatures going down right now, now is a good time to get your heating and air system looked at. Thomas, when somebody calls, you guys answer.
That's right. The phones are staffed by us. They're manned 24/7. We're ready to come out and take care of you that day.
How do they give you guys a call?
You give us a call at 256-503-4490.
And you can find you guys on the World Wide Web at
TalentHVAC.com.
And now is a good time to do this because you guys are offering a special deal.
That's right. We're doing $49 tune-ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that year-round. Somebody comes out, they say you got a bad compressor, leaking refrigerant. Give us a call, see if we can save you some money.
Thomas from Talkin Heating and Air. Thomas, one more time, that phone number.
256-503-4490.
AL certain number 21014.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well-trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at Your Home Window Company. When it comes to replacement windows, exterior doors, or new window screens, Your Home Window is the answer anywhere in Huntsville, Athens, Decatur, or Hartselle. Your Home Window windows and doors are made here in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. When replacing those old windows or doors, Your Home Window has the solution for you. In-home estimates are always free and financing is available. Learn more at yourhomewindow.com and see clearly with Your Home Window. Visit yourhomewindow.com to make an appointment today.
Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Here you go. Now we're back. We're live. We're brand new. That's right. Hope everyone had a great. Hope you were able to enjoy the holiday weekend. We're back. 256-576-4977. That's how you can join us on said Tuesday morning. Got to remember it's Tuesday now.
Short week.
Yeah, a lot of stuff to get through in just what? Are we going to work Friday?
I guess. I mean, we already had one day off, right?
Oh, I didn't know if we wanted to.
I mean, we can discuss it. We have others that take 7,529 vacation days anyway. So
And there's only 365 days.
Oh, yeah. That's like Tom Hart saying the guy has hit 4 home runs in his last 3 at-bats on one of the – yeah.
Anyway, hope everyone had a fantastic
and
Memorial Day.
Gets the score wrong on the broadcast as well. That's a base hit. It'll make it 3-0. It's 3-1, moron.
Anyway, we're back in the saddle.
He definitely ain't Al Michaels, but don't ask him that.
Not a lot of people are.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people are Al Michaels or Vin Scully or
no.
I mean, heck, even
Keith
Harry
Jackson.
Even Harry Carey drunk.
Well, I mean,
could still do a lot of good.
A lot more entertaining than Tom Hart. Jose Gonzalez.
Oh, it was still good. Yeah.
Henry Rodriguez. By the time you get to the fifth inning or whatever,
Oh my
it was
God.
just Rodriguez.
Take over, Steve. Miss Steve Stone too.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
That was. I just miss WGN and TBS.
Yeah, I do too.
Not just. I just missed you. You knew on a summer night
Yeah.
that you could tune into. Well, but the Cubs at that time didn't have lights.
Well,
and
that's
so it
true.
was always in the
Day
afternoon.
games,
Yeah,
yeah.
1 o'clock in the afternoon. But you could watch WGN. You could watch Cubs baseball in the afternoon.
The home games in Wrigley were always in the afternoon.
Yeah. And then you could watch the Braves game at night
Right.
on TBS.
And amazingly, I still get WGN and TBS on my cable, but I can't watch baseball except for every now and then on TBS because I guess I've been told that I've got to pay extra for the Braves now. So
You and the Braves.
yeah,
Oh, by the way,
yeah.
I hid that. Look, I got
Oh.
you and John one.
I forgot. Yeah,
I brought one in.
the
The infamous cherry donut.
No,
It's here.
but no, we did react. I mean, I saw the picture on Friday.
Yes.
Yes, because as John will tell you, I came in to do the show, at 10 o'clock. And
John,
so
come get your donut.
Yeah, John, come get your cake cherry donut there, Johnny.
Here, grab one out of the bag there.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, we saw you look like you got a whole box.
I got a lot. I got more than 6.
Oh, well, yeah, because you asked for 6 and it looked like a lot more than 6. I mean,
There was a lot more than 6. I got to partake in a lot.
The fam was like, the heck with 6. We're bringing you a whole box.
Oh, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
See, it is like, I don't know. It's
John's all right, man. He just took a huge bite. He's just hammering.
They're hard to explain.
The good thing about a donut, though, I mean, of course, there's nothing like them being fresh as soon as you get them, but they still, they you keep
So what
them,
you think? John, what do you think?
He still hasn't swallowed.
I know.
Tastes like the red Starburst. I'm thinking like
Okay.
that's the first
Like a
thing
cherry
that comes to my mind.
Starburst.
Right.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Cherry Starburst.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
because it's a cake donut that actually has cherries on the inside
I mean,
with a cherry glaze.
and I sent y'all a link from the weekend, some of y'all, and I mean, I don't know. I found this hot chip challenge on YouTube, and I mean, it's rather interesting. I if I could find one of these chips, I may have to try it because
I don't know where you find it.
I don't
either.
know. I mean, and now I found out that and I'm not going to do all this stuff, but they have the world's hottest, lollipop. Not really, don't need to do a dang lollipop. And then
that'd burn your tongue.
No, and then another interesting one, the world's hottest gummy bear. And then
Where are you finding this?
I mean, this is just random stuff that pops up on YouTube. And then the world's hottest chip, and it's just the chip. I mean, I've kind of heard of, so I'm like,
I've heard of the chip. Yes.
I did watch a funny video where dude was having a party and he slipped a world's hottest chip amongst his chips and dips there. So one of his friends would end up, of course, eating it. Then he had a hard time breathing, it looked like. But yeah, I don't know exactly where you get them, but
Well, look.
I haven't seen them in like a random gas station or anything, so I don't know. It's interesting.
All right. Well,
Everybody knows I like gummy bears, and gummies. So I just thought, wow.
When you have not done a show since Thursday of last week,
Right. It's been a minute, 4 days.
there's a lot of stuff that has gone on in the 4 days. Heck, there was a lot of stuff that went on between Thursday and Friday, and then there was a lot of stuff between Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then you throw in the fact that the SEC spring meetings are getting ready to start today. Greg Sankey yesterday opened up a can of woohoo yesterday on pretty much the Big 12 and the ACC or whoever else.
Battle of words.
Yeah, we'll let you hear from the commissioner in a little bit.
I believe Molton's already down there.
Yeah, he is. We were supposed to be there, by the way.
Right.
We were supposed to be there at the beach, and obviously we were not there. We were invited. The boss man has invited us to go. We just
I was told
didn't
it'd be
go.
next year, but I mean, it is what it is. So
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, Plus, so we have that on the forefront, and then the 12-team playoffs are at the forefront of the discussion, and the SEC ruling the world is part of it as well, and we'll talk about that. But the SEC ruling the world is nothing new, because in any sport that's going on right now, whether it be baseball, softball, or golf, the SEC is dominating everything right now. Dominating.
I believe I checked this morning. Correct me if I'm wrong, because the golf is I think they're
down
the final four, and I think 3 of them are SEC teams.
Yeah, they had the final 8.
Yeah,
and the SEC was 5 of 8.
Yeah,
just in that,
because Auburn's trying to defend their title.
Yes, they are, and they made it through. They made it through. They're defending it. They're on their way right now.
Right.
But so golf is dominating the landscape. SEC softball dominating the landscape, going to Oklahoma City.
5 of 8.
5 of 8. 5 of the 8 teams in Oklahoma City from the Southeastern Conference.
Yep.
And then you have the baseball. The regionals are set. Seeds are set. And once again, the SEC dominating college baseball.
Yeah. 8 of the 16 national seeds are from the SEC. I believe the final tally was 6 of the top 8 as far as the top 8 national seeds, which means you host super regionals. And in softball, it was 7 of the top 8. And that doesn't mean you're going to advance, because we certainly saw some teams fall short, but certainly the SEC is dominating there. I thought Alabama got screwed in baseball. I thought they should have been a host. Baghdad's having some trouble, man.
Is that bothering your ears?
Yeah.
Okay, I got to figure out which
like
one.
I'm going through a hailstorm. Right
okay, there we go. Now, there we go.
I'm still,
Is that bad?
Yeah, really bad. Worst I've ever heard for Baghdad. I can't really hear anything right now. Good God. I mean,
better, worse,
horrible. Don't know what's going on. Don't we usually plug it in from the back?
You are in the back.
Oh my goodness. I don't know what's going on with Steve's piece of crap, because that's what this is. I mean, it is horrendous. Okay. No, horrible. I mean, when you got duct tape all over everything, it's bad. So it's just like
trying to get you fixed here.
No, it was fine. And then you started.
It was blaring in my ear. Okay.
I can't. Nope. This is basically inaudible.
All right. I tell you what, we're going to get a break in here. When we come back, we're going to fix Bad Dag Bob.
Yeah,
and we'll talk SEC baseball. All right.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
You don't have to go somewhere else just so you can go somewhere new. Plan your next vacation with Huntsville International Airport and Breeze Airways. Enjoy friendly, convenient, nonstop travel to some of the most exciting destinations in the U.S., including the home of iconic casinos, world-class shows, dining, and entertainment. Las Vegas. With flights starting as low as just $79, Breeze has got you covered with easy, breezy, nonstop flights to Las Vegas. Book nonstop to Las Vegas now at flybreeze.com.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Isn't the story of the prodigal son an amazing story? Basically, a rowdy boy who literally wished his father dead, ran away, and consumed his wealth with hard and fast living. Yet the father looked for his return every day, and when the boy got tired of eating pig slop, he decided to return. What did the father do? As soon as he saw that boy, he ran to him, threw his arms around him, and killed the fatted calf for a great celebration. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of the Cross Point Church. If you're looking for a church home, come see us, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at gensuperstore.com.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, "If you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself."
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Hello, listeners. My name is Jonathan Dunwoody, and I own Minuteman Press. We are a full-service print shop that is locally owned and operated. I have personally been handling direct mail for over 17 years and have a great relationship with the USPS. We are the only print shop in the area that is listed as a print provider on their website and the only printing franchise that can use their logo as our partner on marketing materials. We can help from conception to design, print, and delivery to the post office. And with our easy, secure online payment option, you don't even need to leave your office. Minuteman Press, we're not just putting ink on paper, we're building relationships.
The Atlanta Braves.
3-2. Swung on, ground ball up the middle. Let's go for a ride. Here comes Eli across the plate standing. Braves win. Never gets old, does it?
All season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Okay, check this out. 1, 2, 3. I'm just gonna
I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Are we better now?
I can hear your voice finally.
I don't know.
Apparently
you don't touch buttons. I don't know. Baghdad Bob, something is
It's
fishy.
a piece of crap.
Anyway, so it's SEC baseball, NCAA baseball. The field is set. The SEC is really well represented. The Auburn Tigers will host its third NCAA regional, the last in 4 years. For the first time in program history, Auburn got the number 4 national seed, ties the 2003 team for the highest postseason seeding in program history. And you look at that 2000 Auburn roster, and some cat, he was a freshman on that roster, Chris Dennis from Bob Jones High School was a freshman on that 2003 roster for Auburn. But
until Jared Smith came in and built Bob Jones in the last decade into a powerhouse within our state and really the southeastern United States,
right?
And won a state championship last year. Went to the Final Four this year. That was the measuring stick for Bob Jones baseball. Chris Dennis went on to a solid career at Auburn. They went to the finals under Coach Lee Gann, who I think is still now at Mountain Brook. He left to right, I think right after that year to go to Mountain Brook. But Bob Jones got to the finals of 6A in that time.
Yes.
And lost. And so Chris Dennis was a heck of a player, watched him several times. And so, but now Bob Jones has taken it to the next level. They just lost a star-studded senior class, but they're just going to reload. That's what they do under Coach Smith. But yeah, there's no question. Auburn right now, I was a little surprised they were the number 4 national seed that high, but I'm not arguing with any of it. I mean, their strength of schedule was number 1. I know we're going to hear from Butch Thompson and talk about that. And so I knew they were going to be a national seed. To me, they deserve to be. As I was saying before, Baghdad just short-circuited over there. All is well. All is well. But, red flag. It's one of these days. Pow! Right in the kisser. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I thought Alabama got hosed. I thought the SEC should have got 9 hosts. They got completely screwed. They beat Southern Mississippi head-to-head. They beat Coastal Carolina. And I'm not saying Coastal didn't deserve to host. They had quite a resume. And I believe they won the conference tournament. Southern Mississippi did not. Southern Mississippi's strength of schedule was 67. I just felt like the SEC deserved 9. And I'm not advocating Alabama to be a top 8 national seed either. I didn't think that should happen. I thought they probably should have been 14 or 15, maybe 16, like they were, a couple years ago. But
Coastal's 48 wins, 4th most in program history, most since 2016 when they won the national championship.
But the win head-to-head, I think, should have helped Alabama get a host as well.
Right.
But again, I had no problem.
They had an RPI of 8, Coastal.
Coastal's metrics were really good. Yeah. Like, I got no problem with him. But Alabama beat NC State, who ended up being a 2 seed. They beat certainly Coastal. They beat Southern Mississippi. They beat Georgia in a series. Georgia ended up being the 7 overall national seed.
Well, what about Georgia Tech though? Georgia Tech won the ACC regular season, but did not they did not get a regional host.
Yeah, that's another one where it's just kind of head scratching. Because to be honest with you, I don't think Oregon deserved to host. They're in the Big Ten. The Big Ten sucks. I mean, they have nobody that's any good. It's not my problem if it's 30 degrees and they all suck. Okay? Yep. Not my problem. Okay.
Well, we talked about it last week. Iowa Hawkeyes had a chance to host.
And you told me straight up, even though Iowa was near the top of the Big Ten standings, that
their schedule was not great. So they did not play.
You didn't think they would host, and you didn't even think they'd get in. And
because their last 9 games, they faced teams with the RPI of 30 or above.
Right.
Okay. Great resume builder. You go 5-5 in that stretch, the committee's going to be impressed.
Mm-hmm.
Iowa went 0-9, did not win one of the games against the RPIs that they needed to win. And so you're going to get left out. There is not an original Big Ten team in the NCAA baseball tournament. Every one of the Big Ten teams that are in are the new ones. Nebraska, they're in. Oregon is in. USC is in. UCLA is in. Everyone that was just added to the conference is in the tournament.
Been there for a while, but
but they're not an original.
They're not an original,
right?
And they won. Only reason they're in, they won the Big Ten tournament for the second straight year. They stole a bid. I think they're 31-27 overall. So again, I know people are going to moan, groan, whatever. And the people will say, well, the committee's trying to at least, throw a bone to some West Coast schools and let them host like an Oregon or a UCLA, especially Oregon. But I'm sorry, you look at their schedule strength. It's not what an SEC school is. It's just not. And then that conference tournament is a joke. I mean, Oregon may end up getting to the World Series, but I just thought Alabama deserved to host. Not a top 8 national. I understand that. I don't think they did quite enough. But I will say, you never know each year how the committee is going to weight things. And they weighted the SEC tournament quite a bit. In the years past, they have not.
Right.
This year, they weighted it because Vandy was thought to be a lock for a top 8, maybe a top 5. Hell, they're number 1. They won the tournament. Ole Miss going into the tournament, I don't think they were going to even host. and they get all the way to the finals, and they end up, I believe, the 10th national seed. And then Tennessee, we talked to Vince Ferrara.
Yeah, Ole Miss is 10.
And Vince does their games with John Wilkerson. He's as close to that program as anyone. He felt like they had work to do to host. And they get to the semifinals, and then my favorite game of the tournament, 10-0. Vandy said, "Yeah," finally, and just beat the ever living best out of them, and which I enjoyed because I can't stand them maggots. But anyway, but I will give a shout out to Stone Lawless. He got a base hit, Huntsville High alum. Good for him, and he's going to be a really good player in the future. I hate it for that maggot, but anyway. But Tennessee is a good team, and they got to the semifinals, and they played their way into a host spot.
Right.
And I didn't have a problem with any of that. But I guess, if Alabama could have beaten Tennessee, and they did lead 6-5 at one point, if they had pitched better, I think that's kind of the turning point. If Alabama had beaten Tennessee, I think they would have probably hosted. But I think that's,
because remember, we said beating Missouri is not going to do anything for you.
Well, I didn't really think too much because they look, it would just hurt you because, again, if you lose the game, because they had won 3 games all year. We saw what happened with Texas A&M. Texas A&M made a nice run in Hoover, but they were going to have to win the tournament because they didn't get in either, because the SEC set a record with 13. Kentucky got in as a 3. I believe Mississippi State was a 3. So you knew those teams were very likely going to get in, but A&M didn't get in. Alabama, I felt like deserved a host, but I wasn't shocked that they didn't get one. And again, it is what it is. But now you got to go to Pete Taylor Park, and you're playing in a very tough regional, by the way. I mean, certainly the draw is not easy. I mean, Miami didn't finish the season strong. I think they lost 6 out of 7. They went out of the ACC tournament really quickly. But they're talented. And you got JT Arteaga, who Alabama faced when he was a player at Miami. They're certainly a talented group. So you got to go play them on a neutral field. I think that's going to be a 2:00 game on Friday on ESPN 2. That's going to be televised. So that's going to be a heck of a regional. And then you got Southern Miss, great program. Do I think they deserve to host? No, but I have respect for their program. They certainly are good year in and year out. And I believe they play Columbia out of the Ivy League. So I think that's the 4 teams in that draw.
Columbia 29-17.
Yeah, they won their way
Southern Miss 44-14. That just tells you the disparity, though, between Northern baseball and Southern baseball. Columbia 46 games total.
And then
46 games total, and Ole Miss, Southern Miss has won 44.
And then I hate it for our friends at Troy. I really do, because they had a heck of a regular season. They just, much like your Hawkeyes, when you talked about your Hawkeyes not finishing strong,
right?
Troy didn't finish strong.
They didn't finish strong,
season.
And I think the Sun Belt tournament got a little topsy turvy.
It did. And they went out earlier than they needed to.
Yeah.
And they got in. They got caught in the losers bracket, and then they were in the first 4 teams out. I mean, they were very, very close of getting 3 bids into from the Sun Belt, which would have been great for that conference. It is a really good mid-major conference, and I hated it because Skylar Meade's done a great job there. They did lose twice to Alabama, but they were hotly contested games, no question about that. And so you hated to see. And then Jack State, hated it for them. They lose a heartbreaker
11
to
innings.
Western Kentucky, man. They were in the finals of the Conference USA tournament, and then couldn't quite pull it out.
Yeah.
And Western Kentucky, for the first time in several years, getting into the regionals.
Here is Butch Thompson yesterday after Auburn getting that fourth national seed, I guess you'd say.
I know that 4 of the 5 teams we travel to in SEC play are regional host and national seed. So I just I give Greg a lot of credit in adjusting from where do we need to get to create a day like this. So a top 4 national seed is a absolutely big deal. And but as I looked at watching the TV here, not just our road, but every road's a tough road. Every team that's made this field has done something amazing. They've had a pitcher rise up, a team rise up, a big swing. So all capable teams. But at least I know standing here to you in front of you right now that 4 teams stand in our way of a return trip to Omaha. And I think it's pretty neat that we did it in the 984 club here, because this lets us know the distance to Omaha. And this highlights our 6 teams from Auburn that have made the journey. So it's nice that it starts right here at Plainsman Park on Friday.
So Auburn in. Now, if you look at it, and if you look at the regionals, the Alabama regional, or I should say the Hattiesburg regional, where Alabama is at, whoever comes out of that will play the winner of the Nashville regional, Vanderbilt, Wright State, East Tennessee State, and Louisville. That is who's in that region.
It is. And Alabama, I do think they should have hosted, but they also had opportunities. They were 4 outs away from winning a regional in Nashville, or excuse me, a weekend series in Nashville, pardon me. They let that get away from them and lost on a walk-off, 9-7. So nobody to blame but themselves there. And then they lose at Florida because they let the Friday game get away from them after leading 5-0. And they end up losing that one 7-6. So it's just one of those things. You have to close the deal in in a weekend series, and so that's another couple of series losses down the stretch that hurt Alabama because Vandy got hot as Hades. They were a host throughout most of this process, but they weren't even halfway through the SEC season a national seed, but they just continued to get better, and now they're number 1 overall.
You mentioned Florida, you mentioned Vandy. Florida got sent to the Coastal Carolina region, the Conway Regional. So it's Coastal versus Fairfield, East Carolina versus Florida. The winner of that regional will play the winner of the Auburn Regional. And it's Auburn taking on Central Connecticut first. Stetson and NC State will battle each other. And so is Stetson. That is a heck of a regional there down there on the plains, but they will take on the Conway Regional. So really, I mean, if Auburn could get through, Florida could get through potentially there. You got Baton Rouge and Clemson regionals. Those two will play each other. LSU versus Little Rock and Baton Rouge. Rhode Island and Dallas Baptist. Clemson, UC Upstate. Kentucky and West Virginia. Kentucky, remember, Kentucky gets in to the SEC, or they get into the tournament. They would be Baseball America predicted them to be the first team out. Instead, the Wildcats did enough to get in just to earn an at-large bid. 29-24 overall, 13 SEC wins, and went one and done in Hoover. But they get in to the Wildcats of Kentucky. So.
Yeah, and I felt like they deserved to. I mean, it's a little nerve-wracking because you went out pretty early in Hoover. It didn't make a run. But their schedule strength was good. They come from a power league. They did more than Texas A&M did. I mean, I'm sorry. I'll be honest with you. If Texas A&M had done what everybody else did, if they had just swept Missouri, and Missouri had gone 0-30,
right,
and just been the worst team in the history of the Southeastern Conference, which they may have been anyway. But if they had been 0-30, I think A&M gets in. With the run they made in Hoover, if they would have had enough wins and quality, then the SEC would have got 14. They probably would have been a 3 seed, but they would have been a very dangerous one. But when you're at home and you lose 3 in a row to Missouri, including the last one where it looks like you're just giving LeBron James effort and you just don't give a rat crap.
Yeah,
I got sent something this morning that was cracking me up because LeBron did his podcast with Steve Nash. Nash is tarnishing his own legacy, working with that clown. But anyway, I mean, hey, he's probably getting paid handsomely to be his fake friend. But anyway, he was talking about how swollen his knee was, and then somebody found a video of him doing some kind of gritty dance or something. He's the biggest fraud in athletics. You know what I'm saying?
Texas A&M becomes the first team to ever start the season ranked number 1 and then not make a regional. Their softball team set history a week ago.
Man, Owen's been having it rough. I mean, they the number 1 overall national seed for the first time ever, and they don't get out of their regional. Liberty beats them twice.
In softball.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then, but here's the crazy part. Somebody else put this out. I hadn't realized it because I didn't go back and take a look at the preseason poll. The top 2 teams in the preseason poll, neither one made it.
Virginia, I believe, was ranked number 2. Yeah.
I didn't realize until the field came out. I was like, oh, crap, Virginia didn't get in. So Virginia, and we'll see what that means, for that situation, because as we've said, that could be your next head coach of the Mississippi State Bulldogs. But Mississippi State still got baseball to play, and then they have to decide, if is that the direction they're going to go? But I mean, there's been a lot of hot and heavy speculation about it. Now, of course, people were wondering what's going to happen at Texas A&M. You just mentioned A&M. Michael Early, haven't heard anything with that situation. So the day after, sometimes that's when they decide to pull the plug. Haven't heard that. And then when you see the way they played in Hoover, and then you heard and you see, and by the way, we haven't really mentioned it because we've been off the air, but what a show of toughness by Jace Lavalette. I mean, good Evans
goes under the knife, goes
under the knife, and then that morning at 7:00 in the morning, whatever, has a pin put in his finger because it ended up being a broken finger, wasn't a broken hand, so to speak, and decides to play, cuts out 2 of the fingers of his glove, and then goes out and goes 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs, and just says, "I had to be out there with my brothers." And LeBron James won't play with a hangnail. And this guy's going out there and getting surgery and playing. I mean, that's what toughness is.
Yes.
And being, totally committed to your team and not being a fraud.
All right, let's get a break in. When we come back, we'll go out to the phone lines. We got to switch the conversation. We got to talk some SEC football. Greg Sankey already at the beach yesterday. Greg Sankey was fed up, and he'd had enough. And he basically, without calling out the Big 12 and everybody else, he called out everybody else. We'll let you hear from Greg Sankey and get your phone calls in next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Your Fox 54 weather, brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman, dropping into the mid-upper 60s as we head into the overnight early into your Wednesday morning, maintaining the opportunity for a little bit of rain. A mostly cloudy to overcast sky as we head into your Wednesday afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid-upper 70s. A couple of folks could see the lower 80s. Scattered showers and thunderstorms once again in the forecast, dropping into the mid-60s overnight.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Ford Motor Company. From America, for America. Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford with a real quick quiz. Out of all the manufacturers, do you know which auto company employs the most hourly workers in America? Ford. Do you know which company assembles the most vehicles in this country? Ford. That's not just a coincidence. It's a commitment. A 120-year-old commitment to build in America for America. And during this unprecedented moment in automotive history, you stand to benefit big time. Woody Anderson Ford is now offering employee pricing. You pay what we pay. We've got over 190 F-150s for you to choose from with generous finance rates and the best deals of the year on America's best-selling truck for 48 years in a row. Employee pricing can save you thousands off MSRP, and with over 600 Fords for you to choose from, there's a good chance you'll find just exactly what you're looking for. This offer ends May 31st, so hurry in. Woody Anderson Ford.
Since 1986, Full Moon Barbecue has been cooking quality meats low and slow over a hickory wood-fired pit. From ribs and wings, brisket, turkey, catfish, and sausage to the best butts in town. If you're planning a holiday or a birthday party, Full Moon has a large banquet room. And Full Moon is ready for your next catering or tailgate. Just call us and we'll take care of everything. 256-713-0070. Full Moon Barbecue on the Parkway next to Costco. The best little pork house in Alabama.
When the biggest names in aerospace, financial services, and electronics needed office and manufacturing space in Huntsville, they called Samples Properties, and they've been doing it for over 40 years. When Huntsville first began to grow, so did Samples Properties. You can trust your business to Samples Properties and their deep knowledge of the commercial real estate market in Huntsville and Madison. When you're in the market for commercial real estate and you need a partner who knows how to make your plans come together, Samples Properties can guide you through all the legal, financial, and regulatory hurdles. And if you just need office space to start or grow your business, Samples Properties is the call you need to make. Go to samplesproperties.com to see the impressive list of clients that have profited from the knowledge and integrity of Samples Properties. For commercial real estate development and consultation, trust your business to Samples Properties, with offices on Madison Street in downtown Huntsville. Samplesproperties.com.
There's the phone and no one to answer.
256-576-4977.
And as a result, we got many phone calls and letters.
Give us a call on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline today. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Well, there went the buckhorn helmet.
Uh-oh.
It fell down. It fell down.
They are rebuilding, though.
Probably because I hit the table and it knocked it down.
It wasn't even me. I would have thought I had done that.
It just went boop.
Wow.
Just went boop.
I didn't do it for once. I was too busy calling people dumbasses off the air.
Yes,
but
you were. Yes, you were.
There's a lot of them, especially the ones who want Patrick Murphy to retire.
Let's slip into the phone lines real fast. Pat from Tuscaloosa with us. Good morning, Pat.
Hey, Pat.
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, I just read where that Duckworth from out of Jackson, Alabama.
Yeah, two dual threat
ticket for the Elite 11 in California, the finals. And I realized, Drew, that you think that they're all T-shirt All-Americans, and I love that word that you came up with. But my quarterback, Thamala, out of Nebraska, I look for him to finish in the top three, and I'm going to tell you why. Of what I saw of his film, being able to hit every long throw in stride and being able to thread needles, and that's what this competition is all about. And I don't doubt that he doesn't finish in the top part of it. Did you ever get to see any of his film? I know you said you was going to wait.
I watched some basketball film. I haven't watched a ton of the football stuff, but I do know he's coming in this weekend, I believe, for an official visit this coming weekend. Pardon me. So they definitely have turned up the heat on him. He said that it was, and I'd have read some quotes from him, and he just said, this is a situation where I have to check it out because of the history of the program, and we'll see what Alabama thinks of him in person. Obviously, I like I told you, watching his basketball film, a little bit I saw, he definitely is like his high school coach said, he's a much better athlete than he's being given credit for. And again, what my whole point of the Elite 11 is, I just don't weight it as much as I used to. It's still important and it's still significant.
Right.
But I don't ever, after Blake Barnett won it going away, and I got so caught up in all that, and then he couldn't play dead in the B Western. I'm just there, and Blake and his family were great people. I mean, some of the best I ever dealt with as far as from a media perspective. But he just wasn't a very good player. I mean, he went to Arizona State. He didn't play. He went to South Florida. And he had a pretty decent run there for Charlie Strong. But he wasn't near the prospect that everybody had him played out to be. And so,
it's still about development, and it's a risk. I mean, because you had guys like Malik Washington, Blake Bortles, and Johnny Stanton. Wow. All of them were in the Elite 11. All of them were in the finals, and some of them materialize,
and
then some of them don't. And so it's all about I think it's all about getting to the program that's going to develop you and how much you want to work when you get there.
Yeah, no question. And I think when you go back and look at it, Tua did really well in the Elite 11. I think he won it. And he ended up being a great player. So it works both ways.
Yes.
But I don't get all hyped up in it. And, and if a guy doesn't perform all that well, it's not something that
you're right. Tua won the 2016 Elite 11.
But I'll tell you another flop, and he ended up committing to Alabama, and he went to about, I don't know, he committed to about 100 schools, and I think he played at 5 or 6 as Ricky Town, because everybody thought Ricky Town was going to be the next great one when he committed to Alabama, and then he flipped to USC. Then he didn't. I mean,
well, okay. So Tua, think about this though. 2016, Tua goes to the Elite 11.
Yeah,
these were some of the quarterbacks that played in the 2016 Elite 11.
Right.
Miles Brennan, Sean Clifford, Tommy DeVito, Sam Illinger, Jake Fromm, Hunter Johnson, Tate Martell,
oh my God,
Dylan McCaffrey, Davis Mills, Chris Robinson, and Jack Sears.
And most of those end up being good players. A lot of them in the NFL. Not many starters, but it just goes to show you quarterback is one of the hardest positions to evaluate and a lot of it has to do with what you surround the quarterback with. And and I do think if Blake Barnett had stayed at Alabama and competed, and he did an interview just a little bit ago. I watched it this weekend where he talked about he and his family at that time didn't get enough clarity in their mind, and that's why he transferred. But I'll be honest with you, if there had been a portal back then, there's no telling he would have left Arizona State after, probably 6 months.
Right.
But I mean, I think he should have stayed and competed. I do think he was talented. I don't think it was one of those things where he didn't have any ability. I just think he didn't stick it out. And there was so much talent around the quarterback at that time. But, Jalen Hurts competed, and Jalen Hurts showed a lot of mental toughness and fortitude and won it as a freshman. And we all know, and even showed a lot of fortitude staying when Tua showed up. So you got to give both those guys a lot of credit. And both of those gentlemen are starting quarterbacks in the NFL. But sometimes if you hop around too much and you never give yourself a chance to develop, or if you make the wrong decision, if you go to the wrong school, things of that nature, Pat, it can turn out poorly for you.
Yeah, gotcha. Hey, I appreciate y'all taking my call this morning, but I just wanted to bring up that Ducksworth out of Jackson, Alabama.
He's a good-looking player, man. I mean, I'm sure you watched it too. I mean, the 4A state championship game was one of the biggest maulings in history. It was like watching Georgia against Wofford. TCU.
Well, you got to understand, hey, Crowell, or however how you want to say his name, hey, he's special too. They got a lot of good.
They got a lot of talent. You're right.
They do.
Yes, they do.
Hey, have a great one, sir. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Pat.
All right, 256-576-4977. You want to join the program here on a Tuesday morning as we're getting everything cranked up after an extended weekend vacation. I hope everybody had a great Memorial Day. Yes, hope you were able to enjoy it. Yeah, dodged a lot of rain over the last 3 or 4 days.
I just saw it went across my phone. More storms on the way. I mean, I've never seen so much rain.
What I saw the other day
feels like I'm living in Seattle.
That we usually have around 3-something inches of rain for the month of May.
Mm-hmm.
We're over 7 inches right now. We could hit 10 by the time it's all said and done for the month of May.
And we've had several of those inches over here in our coming from our roof.
Yeah. The buckets. We have the buckets out. The rain buckets are out.
We do what we have to do here.
That's right. We got Baghdad. What are we going to name the rain buckets? We got Baghdad Bob here. Gonna come up with something for the rain buckets.
I don't know. That's a good question. We need to come up with something that's I don't know, the Beatles. Who knows? Yellow Submarine.
Well, we had that before. Let's get in Philip real fast. Good morning, Philip.
Morning, Philip.
Hey guys, how y'all doing this morning?
We're doing well, Philip. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. I wanted to ask you, what's happened to the afternoon show? I know the baseball has been taking up everything in the afternoon.
Well, now, are you talking about the drive or the Tom Abraham show?
Yeah, No, the drive.
Baseball. SEC baseball.
SEC tournament every year. Pretty much the SEC tournament, even though they came up this year with the single elimination bracket, it pretty much for a whole week.
They're chasing cheese.
Oh my God! But yeah, they every year pretty much, Philip, the drive is going to have get to take a week off because of that. Now they're going to be live this evening.
From Destin, Florida,
in the SEC spring meetings. Steve Moulton's already down there. So is West Neighbors. So they're going to be live down there. They got invited. You have to be on the short list to go there.
I was on the waiting list, by the way.
And so
I made it to the waiting list.
So, but they've gone several years in a row, but they took the week off because of the SEC baseball tournament, because here at 97.7 The Zone, that's a rite of passage for us. We carry the entire tournament, not just Alabama.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And one other quick question.
Sure.
I'd seen on recruiting this morning, Alabama picked up a top-ranked quarterback.
He's a walk-on guy that out of the state of California. They look, man. They needed a fourth body. I mean, and again, I don't know how good this kid's going to be. I mean, we'll see. I noticed it yesterday. Somebody sent it to me, and I looked him up, and it's John Gazagna. I mean, I don't know if I'm saying that exactly right. It sounds like somebody out of the mob, but anyway, he's definitely Italian, and he's from Southern California. He's 6'7", and he's walking on at the University of Alabama because they have 3 in their room right now. They didn't lose any of them to the portal, and they're adding a 4th. And they have Cade Carruth, I think, still as a walk on as well, because as I've tried to tell people with this, they're waiting for this settlement, to be going to effect maybe July the 1st. But I still think they're going to have walk-ons at least this year. Now we'll see, what happens going forward. But they are going to still have walk-ons, and that's what this kid is. Certainly he's a guy that he's a 2025, and I'm not sure if he was committed anywhere else and decided just to walk on at Alabama. I don't know a ton about his background, but I noticed it yesterday, and he's coming in to be another guy to compete in the room. But certainly I don't think there's any danger by any stretch of the imagination that he is going to push his way into the conversation. He'll be a scout team guy.
Okay, the one I was talking about, now it was on Facebook News. I know that they flipped one from Iowa State.
They haven't flipped him. He's visiting. If somebody said they flipped him, he's visiting this weekend. He hasn't flipped. That's who Pat and I were talking about. Pat was talking about him going to the Elite 11. He is going to go to the Elite 11. He will officially visit, I believe, this weekend, because this will be the first weekend of official visits from May going into June, and the dead period is going to be over in basketball by June 1. But yeah, that young man is committed to Iowa State right now, but he will visit the University of Alabama.
I think he'd be a great addition. I think he's like 6'4".
Yeah, he is. He's a pretty good athlete. But again, I think I haven't watched a ton of his film. They've been trying to kind of work out which 2026 quarterback they want to push for, and this is a 26 kid. This is the kid that I was referring to as a 25 that should be reporting in June, and because they I guess he could move in any day because they've had some of their other the Caleb Edwards of the world that weren't there, and Chuck McDonald. They were all on campus this weekend. There was a lot of them, including Ace Austin, a lot of the basketball players. Shout out to Simon Walker. He's moved in over there at Auburn. He will be number 10. But yeah, a lot of kids are already moving down to campuses. But yeah, but this kid that's committed to Iowa State, he'll be visiting officially this weekend.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right, guys. Well, y'all have a great day, and we'll talk to you on that later. Thanks.
Thanks, Philip. Let's get this break in. We're going to wrap up hour 1 next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The sound of the organ. The crack of the bat.
It is gone.
The sight of watching the ball go over the wall. and the taste of peanuts and Cracker Jacks. There's nothing like it. It's America's pastime. From the first pitch to the final out, you can hear every game right here on your home for Alabama baseball.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
$7:53 Monday morning was yesterday. Today we're Tuesday morning. We have yet to decide if we're going to work on Friday or not, so we'll figure that out as we go along.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll see
what's interesting.
Oh, well, we got a suggestion for the nickname of the buckets.
Yes.
I got a text. They want them nicknamed Jeff because they don't have the sense to get out of the rain.
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
We could name a lot of things that way.
I don't think I want to do that. I don't even want to. I try not to even think about it.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't want to do that one. We're going to come up with something. Baghdad Bob for this thing is perfect.
That was good. Yeah,
that was good.
All is well, even if it sounds like it's going to fry your ears. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the hell you did, but it sounds great now.
I didn't do it. I mean, you saw what I did. I just touched it. I just touched the dumb thing. I didn't move anything. I just touched it and it just like stopped.
I don't know. I mean, it was awful.
Steve will come in here and be like, "Oh, ain't nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. See, it'll work.
Somebody give me some more electrical tape.
It'll work. See, all you got to do is just see. He'll put it on. It'll be like, well, it works for me. All good here. I don't know any problem. No problem.
Or you'll get this.
What problem are you talking about? Steve, it made a problem. It made a bad hiss. I don't know what you're talking about. It's all good now.
Yeah.
And then you put it on and it makes the hiss. And I'm like, it's making the hiss.
The hiss. Because the hit now.
Is what I need because your kiss
I heard
is
you look awful
what I need.
That's what somebody. Oh, man. On this show.
Oh, let's see here. Anyway, 256-576-4977. In hour two, we're going to hear from Greg Sankey because he had some interesting things to say.
Yes, he did. Didn't pull any punches.
No, he didn't. And so we're going to hear from him in hour number two. Coming up to kick off hour number two, right out of the gates, is Bryan Mathews up first. Yeah,
yes.
Bryan Mathews will join us. We always like seeing Bryan Mathews.
Yeah.
He will join us here coming up. No, this is
just shorted out again.
No, Baghdad did not, but this is what you were talking about. There we go. A little Hall and Oates for you on a
There we
Tuesday morning.
Some classic 80s there.
Gosh.
Yeah.
That's from the very best of Daryl Hall and John Oates.
Right.
Man,
But
they could sing.
I got a text the other day. We talked about Huey Lewis and News. The most people ordering CDs. Well, they still have them.
Hall and Oates. Let's see here. What else?
Uh-oh.
I know. Let's see here. Ooh. How about this one? That's a good one, too. All right, we're going to kick off hour 2 with Bryan Mathews coming up next.
This is Brent Musburger's VSIN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
Ranger Suarez on the mound today for the Philadelphia Phillies. He's 3-0 with a 3.70 ERA. The Phillies minus 115 on the money line. The Braves minus 105, 8 over the total at Citizens Bank Park. Auburn hosting an NCAA baseball tournament regional. They're minus 200 to advance to the super regional round. 38-18 record for the Tigers. They open with Central Connecticut State, Stetson and NC State, the other two teams in the regional. Alabama headed to Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Well, they'll take on Miami. The Crimson Tide plus 175 to advance. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This hour brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic and Spine Center. Online at sportsmedalabama.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Big thanks to SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, 256-881-5151. If you want to experience the SportsMed difference, give them a call. They can take care of you. Give them a call. Find them online at sportsmedalabama.com. Kicked off hour 1. In fact, we kick off the show talking about SEC baseball. The Auburn Tigers, we heard from Butch Thompson. The Auburn Tigers, a number 4 national seed, again ties the 2003 team for the highest postseason seeding in program history. 25th all-time appearance in the regionals for the Tigers, including six under head coach Butch Thompson in the past 8 postseasons.
Yeah, it's a great time. I guess this from what Butch, we played some audio from him in the first hour, and I believe this ties the record for the highest seed Auburn's ever had, which is a tremendous. I think we all thought they were going to be a top 8 national seed. We didn't know how high it would go up, and again, they had a short stay in Hoover. But in some cases, it helped Tennessee. It helped Ole Miss. Certainly helped Vanderbilt move up. But Auburn already had the number 1 strength of schedule. They already had a tremendous RPI. And so they were rewarded with the number 4 national seed, which means both the rounds, should Auburn advance from the Plainsman Park Regional, they will be hosting the Super Regionals, which is a monumental accomplishment. Because this was kind of on the checklist for Auburn. Under Butch Thompson to do this, and he's done it with a young squad, one of the best recruiting classes in the country that certainly made a huge impact. And we're going to talk about that and more with our good friend Bryan Mathews, who's joined us, I believe, via Zoom. Since 2001, he's been with Auburn Rivals, auburnsports.com, and he will be having wall-to-wall coverage of this NCAA regional coming up starting on Friday. Bryan, how are you?
I'm doing great, guys. How are y'all?
Doing
good. We're doing good. SEC dominated the baseball regional bids just like softball did. No surprise there. Was it a pleasant surprise that Auburn was the 4th national seed? Because I think everybody thought they were going to be top 8. But as Butch said, a top 4, that's quite an accomplishment.
It was a surprise. I think most people had Auburn projected around 7th.
Right.
And I think there was concern, in Auburn circles that maybe they wouldn't get in because the committee would want to put 6 SEC teams in the top 8. But SEC set a record over 13 total teams in, and Auburn number 4. I think that goes back to them having the number 1 strength of schedule in the country, and the number 3 RPI. I believe they ended up. So I think that was a difference for a team that finished 6th in the SEC to be the 4th national seed.
Yeah, and then obviously they wanted to stay, in Hoover longer, but this year it's kind of interesting. The committee did weigh Hoover heavily, in my opinion. A lot of times they don't, but this particular committee did weight the because of what we saw Ole Miss and Tennessee do. Because going into Hoover, I don't think either one of them was even slated to host.
Yeah. Ole Miss really started with the Auburn series. Right. In my opinion, making that run. That was a big home series win for them. They performed really well in the tournament, and now they get to host a regional. So good for them and in that program. But a national champion just a couple of years ago. And that's the thing. I think one of the guys on ESPN, as they opened the show, said there are no super teams this year, and that sort of struck me as he's right. A team like Auburn, a team like Alabama, Ole Miss, LSU, whatever, if they get hot, they can make a real legitimate run deep into this tournament. But a team like Auburn could, hit kind of a roadblock and maybe not make it out of their own regional. We'll see. So I think it's really important for all these SEC teams, all these teams competing to get hot at the right time if they're going to make a run.
Yeah.
Well, yesterday, Butch Thompson, and one of the reasons why Auburn is hosting is because of their strength of schedule, number 1 in the country. He really went out of his way to talk about how they revamped the strength of schedule, how they looked at everything and said, this is what we have to do to be in this top 4 spot.
They did, and I wrote about that this morning. You can catch that at auburnsports.com. But Greg Dry is Auburn's director of operations, and he's sort of in charge of putting the schedules together. A lot of times they're done around 3 years ahead of time. So some of it's a little bit of luck, right? But you're also trying to pick those teams which have good coaches, good programs that are normally good. So that worked out with Auburn with Holy Cross, the home and home with Georgia Tech, which was the ACC champions. But then you look at a team like Wright State, which is also a tournament team. Auburn had a late cancellation. They were able to add Wright State kind of late there. And that was a team that really helped their RPI too in that non-conference schedule. And then I think Auburn also benefited. You look at the 3 teams the SEC did not make it, into the tournament. Auburn only played one of those first series in South Carolina, and then they pretty much ran all over South Carolina, scoring I think it was 44 runs in that series, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they really did, and so I know in the past one thing that has derailed Auburn, and this is the cruelty of baseball, is injuries. Because I remember in one when they got to Omaha, Tanner Burns wasn't himself. He certainly gutted it out and tried to pitch, but he wasn't the dominant first round type draft pick you would have hoped for him to be able to showcase. But how healthy is this Auburn team going into Friday?
Probably as healthy as it's been. I don't know of any serious injuries. The one question I have, though, is an important one. That's Samuel Dutton. I don't know that he's had an injury, but he kind of hit a wall, I think, the last 2 weeks of the season. He had been so dominant, was in contention for SEC Pitcher of the Year, and then had a couple of bad outings there. He didn't pitch in the SEC tournament because Auburn got knocked out in the first round there, or their first game. He threw a bullpen. I talked to the coaches and some of his teammates. Said he threw really well. Not a bullpen. He threw 3 innings in a inter squad game, but they thought he threw well. So maybe that extra week off and not maybe going trying to go 5 or 6 innings and throw 80, 90 pitches will help him going into this weekend. Would not be surprised if they went Cam Tilley on day 1 against Central Connecticut State, and then Samuel Dutton day 2 potentially against NC State.
Yeah, what do we know? I mean, we know NC State. I mean, we know Stetson. I mean, very good 2 baseball clubs coming to town. What do we know about Central Connecticut State?
I know they have the nation's top hitter, average hitter. I don't know his name. I heard that. I was over there interviewing people, and everybody was talking about the different things. But I'm going to delve a little bit deeper into those guys later today and tomorrow, and have some updates there. NC State, of course, went to the College World Series last year. Lost a lot of veterans for that lineup, but to have a really young, talented team there. And then Stetson is just a team I know that is one of those, group of however many group there are, group of 6, group 5 type programs that are always really, really good.
They are, and then if I want to say I heard they've been to the NCAA tournament 4 of the last 6 years, so they're used to making it. And they're in a 1 bid league, so they know what they have to do. But certainly, and you have to come out and take care of business. But like you said, hopefully they can hold Dutton out. And then NC State Elliott Avent, we know their history; they're really good. So not an easy draw for Auburn, but I still think the Tigers are the definitive favorite.
I do, and I expect a big crowd. I think the expansions at Plainsman Park came at the perfect time. They've set 4 consecutive attendance records, and I think they're adding outfield seats for students and such for this weekend. So you're going to break some records this weekend, I feel like, with Auburn, especially if the weather will hold out.
Yeah, so reserve. I think I was going to say I think the reserve seats are already gone, right?
Yep. They're still selling general admission, and I don't know if they'll try to add some more if they can, but it's going to be a packed house at Plainsman Park. It should be a great atmosphere.
So, Brian, the last 2 trips to Omaha for Auburn, am I mistaken that those teams, those were surprise trips to Omaha? I mean, is this one of the first times in that 6-year stretch or that 6 appearance stretch in the regionals where this Auburn team now is playing with a lot of expectations on their back?
They're favored to get there.
They're favored to get there now. It's not a surprise. I mean, this is playing with a little bit of expectations.
That is a really good point, and they're going to have to be able to deal with that, right? They have had some during the season with the high rankings and such. They've been 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th in that area at times. So, but I don't think anybody's pointing to Auburn, nationally or locally and said, this team is a national championship team, and they've got everything they need to win it. I think everybody looks at Auburn as a team that if they play well, they can play with anybody and beat anybody. But the opposite can occur too. But I think a top 4 national seed does put a target on Auburn. And that's something their veterans are going to have to deal with. And do have a bunch of veterans on this team like Ike Irish and Cooper McMurray, who elected to return. Sam Dutton, who played 3 years at LSU, won a national championship there, is at Auburn. So they got guys they can lead and talk about those things. It's just a matter of everybody else listening and being able to handle those expectations.
Well, and he obviously didn't get a chance to pitch in Hoover, and as you said, he struggled down the stretch. But this elongated break could help Dutton to kind of recharge and get ready for this regional.
Yeah, that's going to be so big for Auburn. I think you've got to have a number one pitcher who's hot to sort of lead you, that guy you can depend on, right, to get you that win against another good opponent or keep you in that game. And Sam Dutton is that guy for Auburn. The rest of Auburn's staff is, much more up and down. You never know who's going to be hot. They got good arms, right, and they can usually find the right guy at the right time. But Sam Dutton is the guy you want to sort of have it as your ace, as your guy that you can depend on. So they need that Sam Dutton back for the postseason run here.
Well, too, I mean, the Auburn basketball team went to the Final Four. Baseball, the last time I think that happened in 19, Auburn did make the World Series, right?
Yeah, 19 and 22 was that right?
Yeah,
I think that's right. Yeah,
So-
but they've never done it at Auburn. They've never had a super regional at Auburn. So if they can win the Auburn regional, they will have that. They've always had to go on the road. They went to Oregon State a couple of years ago and won a big super regional there. They went to North Carolina and scored those, 12, 13 runs in the first inning and won that super regional there. So this is their chance to do it at home. And they've had some chances before. They've lost some tough games to teams like Ohio State or Clemson have come in and won. So this is a big opportunity for Auburn.
Oh, it really is. And I kind of made that in the first hour. This is good. Butch Thompson is, he rebuilt Auburn from the ground up when he took the job and came in for Sonny Galloway. And and Auburn had not been to the World Series since I believe 96. So he's gone 2 times now during his tenure in the last 5-6 years. But then the next step was to become a national seed from the standpoint of top 8. And now, if they can win this regional, I can't imagine the atmosphere for a super.
Oh, it's going to be fantastic. That's one of the things I'm most excited to see for this program. Not just what the crowd looks like, but what the atmosphere is like, right? You can put behinds in seats, right? But if you can get those guys fired up and making noise and, making it tough on the opponent, that can make a difference in a game. And Auburn had a great record at home this season. Won some big series, so you feel like that's going to continue into the postseason, at least with the support from the Plainsman Park crowd.
Well, and then I know it's tough to look ahead because you've got to win the regional first. But any thoughts on the matchup potentially with Coastal Carolina?
Yeah, Coastal Carolina and Florida. Florida has dealt with injuries all year, right? So you don't know if they're equipped to go to a place like Coastal, which loves college baseball and is good every year. Is one of those teams that loves going against a Florida or would love playing in Auburn, right? They love to be those giant killers. So I think either way, if it's Florida, that's a rematch of a super regional. I think back in 2016, 17, somewhere around there, when it went down to the third game and that ball bounced off Stephen Williams' glove and went over. You remember over the Pittsburgh home run, really tight. A really tough series. I know Auburn was disappointed and they came back the next year. I think it went to the College World Series. So that would be great too. And then Coastal, just a terrific program. And you'd love to match up with them just to see that and see how both teams would really get after each other.
Yeah, Gary Gilmore, we know he won a national championship there. And they are one of the true mid-majors that could compete on a national level. Yep. I mean, they haven't skipped a beat. And this is the first year after his retirement, but a great program, great culture there, and it would be one heck of a matchup potentially. But we know Auburn's got to take care of business first. Central Connecticut State, but hey, and let's not forget before you go. Hey, Auburn golf trying to repeat as well. Men's golf.
I think they finished second or third there in stroke play, and they'll start. Is it match play today?
Yes,
I think it's against Virginia, which is a team they played. I think this time last year that sort of set them on the path to win the national championship. So now it's about head to head and, winning those individual battles. So it'll be exciting. And, we'll see over the next couple of days if Auburn can win a back-to-back national championships in men's golf.
That'd be quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, we're calling that the SEC Invitational Part 2. I mean, the baseball is SEC, the softball was SEC, and the golf is SEC.
It really is. It's an incredible conference. It keeps getting better and better, and it's just amazing. If you can compete in the SEC, you can go out and win any championship anywhere, basically.
Yeah, basically just deal with it, America. Yep. That's just what we're saying. but well, Bryan, we appreciate great intel as always. Let everybody know how to follow your coverage. We know you're going to have blowout coverage of the baseball regional. Of course, you guys, I think Schultz is over there covering the golf.
He is.
And then just let everybody know how to follow auburnsports.com.
Yeah, of course. And we will have a big recruiting weekend coming up too, along with this baseball.
For everybody.
Yep, about a dozen guys coming in, including a really good quarterback and some tight ends and some pass rushers. So another big weekend of recruiting. You got Ty Pettiford. His decision is due by 10:59 p.m. Central Time tomorrow.
What's the feeling on that before you go, by the way?
My feeling all along had been he was going to return, but the more it stretches out, the more he goes to see these schools with these late workouts. I'm kind of leaning more to the other way, but I think it's going to be tight.
Wow.
But I think if he's a first round draft choice, I think Bruce Pearl is going to tell him, and everybody's going to tell him, go ahead and go. So we'll see how that works out. I think he's got to have a guarantee there, and he's got about 36 hours or so to go on that. I'm trying to think what else is going on. There's more stuff too.
Bryan, if he does go, would that leave a scholarship spot open for Auburn?
Yeah, it would. They still need a big, and if Tahad declares they need to go out and find a point guard, or a combo guard, and that'll be tough. But there are some guys probably out there that were in the portal that elected to return that might still be available, or maybe some guys internationally that they'll look at there from the guard position. So the one thing they will have though is they'll have that money that was already slotted for Tahad available to give to another player.
No doubt. Well, again, let everybody know how to follow you, Bryan, and we appreciate the time and the intel.
Yeah, auburnsports.com. Give us a try. You can sign up online. You can follow me on socials, BMattAU, and give Uncle Keith's Red Sauce a try if you haven't yet. Homegrown right here in the state of Alabama, available Publix, Piggly Wiggly, Renfro's. You will absolutely love it.
Thank you, man.
Thanks, Bryan.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me.
Bryan Mathews on there. I'm sorry, but every time I see the people chase the cheese down Cooper's Hill, it's like, why would you do this?
I don't know. It's probably Jeff's cousins.
But I mean, look at this.
I know.
It's just insane.
Nuts.
Got to get a break in. Talking ball after this.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation. But did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
You don't have to go somewhere else just so you can go somewhere new. Plan your next vacation with Huntsville International Airport and Breeze Airways. Enjoy friendly, convenient, nonstop travel to some of the most exciting destinations in the U.S., including the home of 12 world-famous theme parks, Orlando, Florida. With flights starting as low as just $49, Breeze has got you covered with easy, breezy, nonstop flights to Orlando. Make all their dreams come true. Book nonstop to Orlando now at flybreeze.com.
Isn't the story of the prodigal son an amazing story? Basically, a rowdy boy who literally wished his father dead, ran away, and consumed his wealth with hard and fast living. Yet the father looked for his return every day, and when the boy got tired of eating pig slop, he decided to return. What did the father do? As soon as he saw that boy, he ran to him, threw his arms around him, and killed the fatted calf for a great celebration. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of the Cross Point Church. If you're looking for a church home, come see us smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend
weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at Your Home Window Company. When it comes to replacement windows, exterior doors, or new window screens, Your Home Window is the answer anywhere in Huntsville, Athens, Decatur, or Hartselle. Your Home Window windows and doors are made here in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. When replacing those old windows or doors, Your Home Window has the solution for you. In-home estimates are always free and financing is available. Learn more at yourhomewindow.com and see clearly with Your Home Window. Visit yourhomewindow.com to make an appointment today.
Listen to the Rocket City Trash Pandas all season long.
Next pitch is drilled. Deep to left field. Back goes Edsel. Like a tomato, ketchup squished it.
Trash Panda Baseball is only on Talk Radio WZZN.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN. The Zone. Big thanks, Bryan Mathews, joining us there. One of the other big stories that we've been talking about and we've kind of highlighted was the fact that Greg Sankey kicked off. It was the day before. So the SEC spring meetings, 2 things here. The SEC spring meetings are ongoing starting today in Destin.
Right.
If you live in the Rocket City, we are going to keep a very, 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 very close eye on these SEC spring meetings because there is big news, and I mean huge news, coming out of these SEC spring meetings that has to do with us here in the Tennessee Valley. Very big news. We can't tell you now. We will tell you as the week goes on. Stay with us. I promise. We're gonna explain it all.
Yep.
The other big story coming out of this is the fact that Greg Sankey yesterday stepped up to the podium, and Greg Sankey, first of all, talked about the scheduling, the college football format, the playoff format, everything else that's gone on. Just take a listen to what he had to say.
Look at a track record. We didn't need 12. Did we say that 4? We would have had half the 4 last year. I don't need lectures from others about good of the game. I don't lecture others about good of the game. And coordinating press releases about good of the game. Again, okay, you can issue your press statement, but I'm actually looking for ideas to move us forward. So, Ralph, I'll go back and say, I thought the 12-team design was really well considered at the time. But we never had a unanimous vote to support the 12-team playoff. So even though I was involved in that work, that didn't mean everybody in this league, when we were at 14, thought it was the best idea. But you engage in that type of problem solving. Our 8 or 9 game schedule, that goes back to really 2018. We've been talking about eliminating divisions from 2018 forward, and we expanded. So it became a different conversation, and the shape of that conversation has changed over time. We have to make a decision. The CFP and my colleagues have to understand there's something different here. We all play college football. And so while you ask that of me, I'll go back and say, we didn't need a 12-team college football playoff. Thought it was good for the game. I was involved in that. Others held it up. I thought it was important to get after that work in a time-efficient manner, yet we held up, and then we went fast. We didn't go slow so we could go fast. We didn't do anything, and then we went fast without solving some of the other elements. I think I have a responsibility to push as well. I think my membership has a responsibility and the desire to push me. And that is a hard issue. If you want to go inside what it's like to sit in this role, I think about the responsibility I have here, and I think about the responsibility more broadly all the time.
Greg Sankey's making reference to the Big 12, talking about good for the game, sending out press releases and all that. The Big 12 fired back, by the way, and said, I don't know what you're talking about. We never sent out these coordinated press releases. We didn't do all this, what you're talking about.
Boo-hoo-hoo. Yeah, they did. Quit lying. You're sitting there, you've been politicking since, they expanded the playoff. I mean, give me a break. It's just what it is. It's a boo-hoo-hoo. We can't compete. It's going to be a long time for a Big 12 school, in my opinion, wins a national championship because they don't have Texas and Oklahoma anymore to hold the water.
Right.
I mean, I don't see Texas Tech being good enough to win it. I don't see Oklahoma State. Their league it's difficult right now. I mean, to be honest with you, Oklahoma State wants to be in the SEC. They don't want to be in the Big 12. They leave in a heartbeat for the money. But again, it's difficult right now for those people to compete. I mean, it just really is. I mean, I'm sorry, but
Greg Sankey believes if college football went to a 4-4-2-2-1 format.
Yeah.
4 automatic qualifiers for the Big 10, 4 for the SEC, 2 for the ACC and the Big 12, and 1 for the
That's never going to work.
He said that could actually hurt the SEC. I think he's in favor of the 5 automatic qualifiers and the 11 at-larges.
We'll see. I mean, there's a lot of politicking going on. I know Brandon Marcello was talking about that today from 24/7 Sports, the 5 and 11 format. And they're gonna expand to 16. It's not going to be 14. Okay, it'll end up being 16 because again, it gives the SEC a chance to get more teams in. I mean, that's just the way it is,
right?
And I know the SEC and people, their talking point right now with a lot of these national media people, they want to say, well, the SEC hadn't won it in 3 whole years. The last 2 years it's been Ohio State and Michigan. The only sports the Big Ten can compete in, really the only one nationally, is football. And if Ohio State and Michigan fall off, and Michigan did beat Alabama, but they ain't no guarantees that this is going to work for Michigan long term from the coaching standpoint. And Ohio State, they're going to stay elite, but I don't see a ton of elite. I see Oregon's good. They're really good, but I think the Big Ten is top heavy. I think the bottom of the Big Ten is horrible. Okay. And again, nationally, the only sport I see the Big Ten competing in right now is football. They got 2 football national championships. They sure as hell hadn't won one in basketball since 2000. Okay. Now they've come close several times.
Right.
But, close is only good for horseshoes and hand grenades. But
well,
I mean,
the SEC and the Big Ten, I mean, they're the ones that are going to drive this. And we said all along, when the SEC and the Big Ten sit at the table and say, we want 4 guarantees, if we're going to do this, we want 4 or we want more, it's going to cause hurt feelings. It's going to cause this animosity towards these other conferences, and they're not going to take. The ACC is not going to take this. The Big 12 is not going to take it. They're going to fight it. And it's causing a battle. It's causing a battle within college football.
It's not. That 4-4-2 thing was never going to happen where they agreed to that. It's just not. And I understand it, but I mean, it's just going to be really hard for the Big 12 or the ACC. Now, the ACC can at least compete in baseball. Right now, though, their basketball is horrendous, except for Duke. I mean, Duke was a really good team. We'll see if a lot of this runs in cycles. We'll see how the ACC reacts and if they can steady themselves again and become more of a national factor in basketball. But as far as Greg Sankey's vision from many years ago, it's completely come true. I mean, the SEC is far and away the most powerful league, and they set the standard in every sport. I mean,
they do.
They do. And you can even talk about college basketball now because Florida won. If the Big Ten wants to stick their chest out and say, well, we're the mightiest football league because we've won the last 2. Who won the basketball this year, guys? The SEC. That's right. The Duke Blue Devils, been a fan since '86. They didn't win it. Houston didn't win it from the Big 12, even though Kelvin Sampson's got a hell of a program over there. They didn't win it. The SEC did. And who would have even thought that, 10 years ago, because the SEC was in a bad place basketball wise, but now they're in a strong place. And by the way, shout out to Bucky McMillan. They pull off a coup today, getting Pop Isaacs to flip from Houston to Texas A&M after you mentioned Marcus Uzon.
Staying at Houston, pulling his name out of the NBA draft. Yeah. So Greg Sankey, obviously, he's saying that, hey, look, if we did the 4-4-2-1, it would cost us teams and all that kind of stuff. Your buddy Dan Woken responded to that.
But the French Open just started. Is he not in France?
He says, and I quote, "This belongs in the Sankey Hall of Fame right next to hashtag we didn't pursue Texas and Oklahoma. They pursued us. And Ole Miss winning the College World Series suggests we aren't including enough teams in the basketball tournament." I mentioned he probably had a typo there and supposed to say baseball.
Of course he is. He's a dumbass. So, only dumb. Hey, the French Open has started. Get your ass to France and then just stay there. Peckerhead clown.
Don't come home.
Yeah, we just stay there. Vive la France. Have a couple of, croissants or whatever and some ham and just stay over there, you buffoon.
Ham. We got to get a break in.
What do they call it over there? Prosciutto? I don't know. That's an Italian term.
I don't know what ham is in French.
I don't either.
All right, we got to get a break in. Will Miller on the other side.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Your Fox 54 weather brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
A mostly cloudy overcast sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. Scattered showers and thunderstorms once again in the forecast. Maintaining the opportunity for rain as we head into the overnight. Temperatures drop into the mid 60s. A mostly cloudy sky for your Wednesday. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 70s. Scattered showers and thunderstorms once again going to be in the forecast. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Your Fox 54 weather only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have. Aren't we thankful for our great and merciful God who loves us and forgives us and remembers our sin no more? I'm so thankful that his mercies are fresh every day. I need that, and I suspect you do too. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, and if you're looking for a church home, come see us. We're smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. And check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Are they promising you up to 10% growth per year guaranteed for your retirement income? If not, you need a new financial advisor. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 up front or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't work when you're supposed to be retired. If any financial advisor tells you it's too good to be true, they simply don't have the options we do. Call Trajan today, 256-208-9000, 256-208-9000.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Sports Talk 24/7, 365. Your full-time sports station.
You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work.
Is 97.7 ESPN The
Doesn't
Zone.
anyone do any work around this joint anymore?
Welcome back. Talking about 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Tuesday morning, 8:36. Talk a little college football there in that last segment. We've also sprinkled in a lot of other things throughout this journey so far, but we're going to take
a nice turn with this rain.
That's right. Going to take it back to the college baseball landscape.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked a lot about the SEC this morning, and rightfully so. Alabama does end up in the NCAA tournament. They get the number 2 seed in the Southern Miss region down there in Hattiesburg. For Alabama, 28th all-time appearance in the NCAA tournament, playing in its 3rd consecutive regionals for the first time since 2009, 2011. So that's a pretty good mark. Alabama overall, though, 74-55 in the NCAA tournament. So including a 60-39 mark, by the way, in regional play.
Yeah, they have a good regional history, no doubt about it, of play. Now, they went 0-2 last year, but Rob Vaughn's team by the end of year 1 was out of gas. I mean, And they had a lot of pitching injuries. They just didn't have enough left in the tank. I don't think the lineup was deep enough. I think this year the lineup is a little deeper. Certainly the pitching staff looks to be healthier. The bullpen is a little bit of a question mark, except for Carson Osmer. We'll see, because that was kind of the head scratching part of it. Was one, the way they handled the pitching situation in Game 2 against Tennessee, and then they used everybody but Riley Quick and Carson Osmer, and no one was effective. So, and again, some of that's Tennessee. They're very, very good, even as much as I hate them. But I mean, you have to give them the respect. But Alabama didn't play that well, and it turns out that it cost them a regional, because if they had beaten Tennessee and could have made a deeper run in Hoover, I think they would have been a regional host. At least it looks that way based upon how the field was unveiled yesterday. And we're going to talk about that and more with our next guest. I'm sure he's going to be at Pete Taylor Park because he's followed this program around the country this year in the SEC. He does a great job for Bama Central, which, of course, is Sports Illustrated, under our good friend Chris Walsh. And, of course, we're talking about Will Miller, and he's been kind enough to join us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline this morning to discuss Alabama's regional draw, which is a tough one, by the way. Will, good morning. How are you?
Morning. I'm great. Ready to talk some postseason baseball. It's never a bad time for that.
No, it's not. But I have to admit, though, but the way they unveiled the field, obviously, I guess Alabama was considered the number 1-2 seed, so they were the closest to getting a regional. But at the same time, they didn't get any favors with this draw. This is a tough regional they're going to.
It is, and I think that people are overlooking that because it's natural to see number 16 seed, mid-major host, that maybe it's a coin flip on who thinks they deserve to be hosting postseason games at their home park. But Miami is a Florida-esque team, for example, at the ACC. Obviously, is not the SEC, but it's the second best league, and they've had a really poor start to conference play and then just absolutely went on a heater. And now here they are in a regional, a great spot. Jason Torres, former school, Columbia. We remember, Drew, 2 years ago when they won a series at Sewell Thomas Stadium, and just an offensive onslaught in Game 3. And Southern Miss is a team Alabama's completely familiar with, playing them. Usually it's once a year. This time it still technically could be once a year, but likely to be at least one rematch between the two teams, and not any shortage of, hey, I know that guy sentiment over there, and obviously a venue that Alabama's also been to before.
And I will say this too. You bring up a good point. I had a friend. He was thinking that Alabama played Columbia this year, but it was actually in Rob Vaughn's first year, and they took 2 out of 3 in Tuscaloosa.
So that was back in 2023, actually.
Oh, 23. Okay, my bad. I got you.
Because they started 14-0, and then I can't remember who they beat.
Right.
In the week right before that, I want to say it was Alabama State, but I could be wrong. But Columbia won the first game by like 3 runs, and then scored like 15 runs in 3.
Yeah, I do remember the series now.
Your thoughts, though, on Alabama? We talked a little bit about it and looked and broke down all the regionals and broke down some of the strength of schedules and everything earlier. I mean, it is what it is now. They're traveling to Hattiesburg, but should they have been in Tuscaloosa?
Yeah, it's a fair question, and it's always going to be when you have, like Drew mentioned, the number 2 seed and the 16 seeds regional is basically the number 17 overall, so to speak, in that field of 64. There's games certainly that you look at, and I'm going to point to one because of the regional draw, and that is the 3rd game against Vanderbilt. From early this month. Vanderbilt being the top overall seed in this tournament is the supers pairing for this whole pod of regional teams between Hattiesburg and Nashville. And if Alabama does come out of Hattiesburg a regional champion, inclinations are they will play Vanderbilt in another 3-game series over there at their place. And that's a series that Alabama should have taken 2 out of 3. You mentioned that at the top of the segment, Drew, about how last year's team ran out of gas. I felt like that's what happened to this year's team in the Friday game against Vanderbilt. And then they come back, win Saturday, should have won 2 in a row, last 2 innings, just absolutely. I mean, I don't even have a superlative for it.
Yeah, man.
You just saw the bullpen completely unravel. Carson Osmer, I believe, his first blown save of the year. And, that just didn't happen. I mean, he had set the program record the day before for single season saves. They go to him 2 days in a row, and some of the damage had already been done, but it just didn't work out. And if they win that game, they're probably hosting.
Yeah, you're right. And especially if they win both the Florida and Bandy series, because you can make an argument they should have. And then they go on a heater, because Vanderbilt's basically been on a heater, and that's why they win the SEC tournament, and they go from. I think going into Hoover, they were thought to be a top 8 national seed, but then they go all the way to the top because they win the thing. And then Ole Miss and Tennessee weren't even considered hosts, and they make deep runs and they end up hosts. So, yeah, I mean, Alabama had their opportunities. They just didn't get it done. But yet there still should be some confidence. They did beat Southern Miss head-to-head. They beat Coastal. They beat NC State. They've beaten some good teams outside of the league. How do you expect – now, I know you won't hear from Coach Vaughn until later in the week, but in your mind, how do you expect Alabama to handle this? I still think they're gonna keep the pitching rotation the way they did the last several weeks of the season, which means Tyler Fay goes in game 1 against Miami. But what are your thoughts?
This could just be me editorializing, but I think Riley Quick will start game 1.
Interesting.
It's so important to get ahead of the curve,
right?
And play, because no matter when you end up losing, if you lose once, you're going to end up having to play possibly that extra game, or be in a win twice scenario, which is a nightmare for coaches and the pitching, if nothing else. And Coach Vaughn spoke in Hoover last week after the Tennessee game, and obviously the number one question based on my mentions on pretty much everybody with a pulse of mind was, why did Riley Quick pitch in this game? And Rob said, we're going to need him, fresh as can be next Friday, which implies, obviously, the verbiage implies.
Good point.
He's the ball first, and that's what I think will happen.
Well, that would be a deviation, but you're right. In regional play, especially, it's very, very difficult to win your way out of the loser's bracket.
And that's exactly what it's designed for. It's designed to reward those teams that get out in front and to an extent that manage well, because these teams are in the NCAA tournament for a reason. They're good teams that could look all around the country, and you're not going to find a regional where you look at it and say, oh, that's weak. You say, oh, these are really good. There's some hosts that possibly could be on upset alert. Southern Miss certainly being near the top of that list, in my opinion. But it's so important, like I said, just to win that first game. Alabama was in the battle with Nichols a couple of years ago in the Tuscaloosa region, and certainly based on the pitching duel, either team could have come out on the right side of that, and that would have changed a lot for Nichols at the time. Mike Silva was their coach. Had they been looking to be Cinderella in the truest sense of the word, they were about an inning away from doing it.
Oh, they were.
How does Alabama stack up to Miami?
I think that, and I mentioned the SEC and the ACC, the discrepancy there.
Right.
I mean, Alabama obviously plays in the better league, and while Alabama was, Drew mentioned some of the wins that Alabama has in non-league action, and while they were picking up some of those, Miami was kind of struggling, and then they start playing well again, start getting streaky. But bottom line, I think that if Alabama can pitch well out of the gate, if Alabama's starters can go deep into games, they can give you like a 6-inning start that Tyler Fay did last week. This lineup has the ability, based not just on power, but just on bat to ball skills, to get the job done. And for Jason Torres, you mentioned the familiarity. He's one of the guys on this team that has double-digit home runs, of which there's several. Will Hodo, Justin LeBron. The offense has pop. And for Miami, I still feel, and I felt this even in the home stretch of conference play, that they're a team with a chip on their shoulder. And I think that mentality is going to remain in the NCAA tournament, and that's certainly an element to be responded to. This is genuinely a regional that, depending on what happens, you don't feel like you're out of it. Mm-hmm. Anybody could win it based on what happens in game one. But the intangibles are there for Alabama. I mean, I feel like, yes, the competition helps, but they've also just shown that they can compete at the highest level.
Is there a worry, not with Carson Osmer, so to speak? He's only blown one game, and that they were still, if they had handled a fly ball in left field a little differently, and then if Justin LeBron had been covering second base, you probably throw behind the runner and still get Vanderbilt out. But is there any worry though with the rest of the bullpen? Because I'll be honest, nobody was effective against Tennessee.
They were not, and part of that was throwing guys, I think, in situations that they're not used to.
Gotcha.
Aiden Vinatieri, for example, he did start that Oklahoma game in Riley Quick's place, and I mean, obviously in baseball, short memories are important, but he was really effective in that game. You have Zane Adams coming out of the bullpen for the first time all year, and that just didn't work. I mean, it was kind of all over the place, truth be told. And when you get a bullpen game, especially against a good offense like Tennessee, that certainly has the potential to happen. I mean, a 15-10 game. Alabama had a 20-13 game against Lipscomb last year. There's some of just these skewed numbers on the scoreboard. You want your bullpen fresh, first and foremost, as fresh as can be. It goes to my earlier point just about getting length out of your starters. Alabama went through a spell in SEC play around that Auburn series and beyond where they were not getting anything out of their starting pitching innings wise. And you can't beat anybody. I mean, ask Georgia, early in the year they were struggling with some games. You just can't consistently win when you can't put it together from a pitching standpoint. So you want those guys fresh and you want them available. But yeah, you also want them, finding the zone, having all their pitches working, and it's different how you manage a bullpen and the pitching staff as a whole in the postseason versus the regular season. So that plays a factor as well.
And then to wrap it up, so you're expecting in your mind, and as a good catch by you, you're expecting Riley Quick for game one. Would that mean Fay game two, and then the Sunday, so to speak, the game 3 start for Zane Adams in your mind?
I would say so. That spot has just worked so well for Zane, and the Quick and then Adams, ever since Zane got moved down the rotation, has been as good of a 1-2 punch as you will find when they're both on. But I think that also you have to give credit where it's due to Tyler Fay, who was one of those relievers that was kind of scuttling, and then he moves into the starting role and has done really an effective job. He's economical. He's missing bats, and I mean he's not a guy that you would feel bad about starting game 1 if that does come to pass. But I do think that Zane Adams is fresh like Riley Quick because he didn't throw a lot at the SEC tournament. He didn't throw a lot at Florida. Certainly hasn't expended himself over the last couple of weeks, and he's a guy that if he's racking them. I mean, Coastal Carolina, you mentioned that win earlier. He was really good in that game and a big focal point in why Alabama won. You get a repeat performance like that in game 3 of a regional, and you could have a chance obviously to go for the sweep there or to stay alive, and either way, if that's the version you get, it certainly plays in your favor. And whatever, I guess, orientation in the rotation you feel like gives him the best chance to go out there and be that version of himself, obviously you do it because it's do or die. There is no margin for error. You don't want to go back and second guess things. So that is what I would guess would happen if Riley Quick gets the ball first.
Well, great stuff. Will, let everybody know how to follow you. We know you're going to be live from Pete Taylor Park, and we're going to carry the regional on 97.7 The Zone, but let everybody know how to follow your coverage.
Yep, I will be in Hattiesburg throughout this regional. Really looking forward to it. You can find all of my work on Twitter at RealWBMiller and on our website at BamaCentral.com.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Will.
Thanks, boys.
Let's get a final break in. Tomorrow's headlines next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I'm here with Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. With the temperatures going up and temperatures going down right now, now is a good time to get your heating and air system looked at. Thomas, when somebody calls, you guys answer.
That's right. The phones are staffed by us. They're manned 24/7. We're ready to come out and take care of you that day.
How do they give you guys a call?
You give us a call at 256-503-4490.
And you can find you guys on the World Wide Web at
talenthvac.com.
And now is a good time to do this because you guys are offering a special deal.
That's right. We're doing $49 tune-ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that year-round. Somebody comes out, they say you got a back compressor, leaking refrigerant. Give us a call, see if we can save you some money.
Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. Thomas, one more time, that phone number.
256-503-4490.
AL certain number 21014.
Since 1986, Full Moon Barbecue has been cooking quality meats low and slow over a hickory wood-fired pit. From ribs and wings, brisket, turkey, catfish, and sausage to the best butts in town. If you're planning a holiday or a birthday party, Full Moon has a large banquet room. And Full Moon is ready for your next catering or tailgate. Just call us and we'll take care of everything. 256-713-0070. Full Moon Barbecue on the Parkway next to Costco. The best little pork house in Alabama.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hi, welcome back. Here are tomorrow's headlines today.
By the way, shout out. The donut was good, man.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I would call it maybe if a cherry icy was a donut. That's the way I would.
I brought you in one. Remember we had one. Yeah,
it was good
a couple years ago.
Absolutely outstanding.
Would you eat it again, John? You would? All right.
Johnny Boy said he'd eat it again.
There's none left at my house, by the way.
Well, of
I
course
ate a
not.
bunch of them.
I mean, we didn't expect that.
I may get some when I go back in August. I got to go up there in August.
Yeah, pickleball.
Yeah. So may get some in August. I don't know. Because there's the thing is there's only one store in town. There used to be 4 or 5 donut lands around town. And they would all make that same, but now there's only one left in town.
Land.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so my mom ordered those so she could get them so that we would be guaranteed to have some because by 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, they're all sold out.
Yeah,
you can't get the cherry. There's other donuts left, but the cherry ones are gone fast.
There you go.
Yeah. So that's 2 hours.
Good show.
Yeah, well, we're only down to 3 days left. 2 if we decide to work.
I don't know.
If we don't decide to work, we may or may not. We don't know. We'll figure it out.
Might depend on Rob Vaughn. Who knows?
We're back at it tomorrow for sure, though. Wednesday edition, Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit Woody